This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening to this podcast. This is Report of the Week here, welcoming you to another VORW show. Well, the time this is being recorded at, it is Tuesday, July 22nd, 2014. Current time is 1:47 a.m. Eastern Time, as always. When shall this be freshly uploaded? I cannot say for certain. I think it as early as tomorrow, maybe. Could be tomorrow. It could be the next day, Thursday. Who knows when, but at some point within the next 2 days, I figure. So how are we all doing? I hope well. Certainly hope well. Can't say that for certain, but I hope everyone is doing well. If you didn't have the best day, hopefully it'll get better. I certainly hope so. Hope your week's been good so far. I surely do. How's my week been going? Well, once again, I've only really been awake from Monday. We'll just take it from there. I woke up at, I actually woke up at 2:45. I looked at the clock. So it's 2:45. I thought, I ought to get out of bed. But then I thought, why bother? So I went back to sleep for another 45 minutes. Actually another hour. And then it was 3:50. Was the time again when I woke up and looked at the clock, and then I finally said, alright, let's go. And I still could have laid there for probably another solid hour and a half. But I got up, got dressed, and, I actually ventured out today. Went over to AMP. And, decided to get dinner there. I did. So, went out, got some dinner, and got a rotisserie chicken. I was originally just going to go to a local pizza place, but I figure I go there so often. Not this time. I may as well switch it up for once and go out and, see the real world for once. So I did. I went out, got a rotisserie chicken. It was just classic. I was hoping for something else. I was hoping for maybe like a lemon pepper, which they usually have, or even a barbecue. But it was just the traditional one, but I thought it had a good bake on it, a nice crisp on it, so I got it. And, it was pretty solid. It was pretty juicy, except for the breast meat, which is always a bit dry when it's white meat. But, it served its purpose. That's been the highlight of my day. After that, I got home, played around on the computer. I'm getting back, actually, onto Mini Clip's 8-ball pool. That's a legendary game, which they're pretty much known for, 8-ball pool. So I've been getting back into that lately. It usually comes and goes. I was really big into it in early to mid 2013. Then I stopped for a while. Then early 2014, I was really big into it. Faded out, and now the summer of 2014, I'm getting back to it. I've got about 2,000 games under my belt. Actually, more like 2,500 games of pool that I've played. I'm still going. After that, I took my walk. I actually calculated it out. I walked 2 miles every night. I feel it's a solid walk for my docile state. And, after that, I went back. I filmed a review tonight, so you'll see it with this here, VORW show. It was an energy drink review. I reviewed Amazon Energy. I still don't know how to pronounce it. It's acai berry, I think. Acai. It's got A, then this C with this weird little hook at the bottom. A, and then I have a little tilde over it. Not a tilde, the little thing that looks like an apostrophe. Don't know where my Spanish went. Actually, I'm sure it's Portuguese, since they speak Portuguese in Brazil. Anyway, I also wore a very nice suit. It's one of my newest suits. It's a I wore it in my important announcement video, so you could look back to that. It's a very nice. It's actually one of my favorite suits. It's a very recent one. It's a British suit from probably the late 90s and early 2000s. But it's a very nice one. It's completely my style. Very, very traditional. Got some nice wide lapels, I'd have to say, probably 4 inches. It's also a double-breasted suit, which if you've really paid close attention to my current wardrobe, the double-breasted suits are pretty much the powerhouse of my wardrobe. I own about, let's see, I own 4 double-breasted suits. 2 of them especially being, I guess 6x1 button stands, which you really haven't seen worn by anyone since, the 90s, 80s and 90s. If you want to get a good sense of that type of suit, and you're really open to a popular movie, which, for those sensitive, I do not recommend, but The Wolf of Wall Street, a lot of the suits that they wear in that are my style. But, it's a very traditional suit, something you would never see sold in stores nowadays. The jacket length, of course, is longer. The pants are pleated, cuffed, increased, with a slight break. And it's a very comfortable suit also. Certainly not modern. But I guarantee you, one day, because men's fashion, I can't say the same for women's fashion, but, women's fashion is ever-changing. It's very fast-paced. And I'm sure a few of you are familiar with that. But men's fashion moves significantly slower, but it still does move, and it always rotates. This style of suit was popular in the, well, not double-breasted, but the same style, roomier, longer, wider lapels, all that. It was first popular in the early 1900s with the sack suit. Then popular again in the 1930s, the drape suit. Then, again in the 50s, actually through the 50s even. Died out in the 60s. 60s suits are actually very, very similar actually to the modern suits of today. But even they were a little more conservative than these outrageous ones today. The 70s suits were, forget them. I can't even label them. And then in the 80s and 90s, this style came back. Even into the early 2000s a little bit, but then it has since died out. Now it's never in stores, this type of suit. But still there's people out there who wear them. Sometimes it could be people like me who prefer this style of suit over the ones today, and have to really search around for them. It could also be a bunch of, middle-aged men who still have their suits from the 80s that they wear. Or it could be people who choose a more conservative style. Whatever it is, they're still around, but their numbers are few, this type of suit. I'm just going to get a little off topic here, but I was actually, before I started up the microphone and began talking, I was actually thinking about suits. So that's why I'm really going on about it. But what I realized is that the modern day suits, Brooks Brothers suits, you got to think about companies. Brooks Brothers is one of the most famous names when it comes to suits. It's been around for a very long time. They're renowned. They're supposed to be top of the line. I looked at some of their newest suits, and I was absolutely disgusted. The pants are too tight, too short, and the jacket, the jackets now, they're suit jackets, which are supposed to go down at least to your upper thigh, go down just to the waist. And I found that disgraceful. And hey, they charged $2,500 for it. Clearly, people buy it. Apparently that's supposed to be quality. See, the only good thing about, or at least one of the many good things about my style of suits, is that because they're so unpopular today, you could actually get them for a pretty good deal. 3 of my suits, they're not, cheap rags or anything like that. I mean, they're solid, brand new suits. But because they're so unpopular today, I could get easily 3 of them for, 100, 120, 150 bucks. Easily. So that's something. Speaking of suits, I'm getting rid of my black one. I am. Feel it's too modern. Because the other day I was out wearing it in a public event, and I just felt so disgraceful wearing it. So I said, no, I'm getting rid of it. Well, maybe I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm not going to wear it as much. So, found another good suit. I bought it, and it's supposed to be here tomorrow. 3-button, black, 3-piece suit. Hope to wear it soon. Let's read some fan mail. Don't think we have as much. So that's why. Let's see. Alright, yeah. Here we are. Hope this is a joke. Hey man, you did not respond to my last comment. I never saw a comment from you. You are my inspiration. I was going to kill myself, but you saved me. Keep making videos. I really do hope that's a joke. But, if I truly did save your life, I'm honored to do such a thing, but really, I hope that's a joke. Hey, Based Review Bro. You think of doing any more beef jerky reviews? I know you've done Slim Jim, but have you thought of any Jack Links or Robertos? I've thought about it. Both of them are, easy to really come by, but I don't know how much I like them or dislike them. But, listen, if I've reviewed Twizzlers, okay, I could easily review those. Hello there. Hi. How you doing? Hope you're well. Dear Mr. Report of the Week, how are you this evening, old sport? I couldn't help but laugh seeing the pictures of you in Hawaii, wearing your usual garb. You must have gotten some strange looks, you old peacock, you. Hey, how you been keeping, Peacock? Hope all is well. Yours, CP King. Thank you, kind sir. In Hawaii, I'll tell you, I got a few looks. I certainly have. And I'm not saying this in any insulting manner, but I was literally the only white guy in Hawaii wearing a full shirt and tie. But in Honolulu, and in Honolulu, there's actually a very large influx of Japanese tourists. You figure, Japan is actually pretty close to Hawaii. Just a flight over the Pacific. So there's a large amount of Japanese tourists there. And I was actually surprised to see that, a few of them actually outdressed me. There were still a few conservative men who I saw who were wearing shirt and ties, and even a few who were wearing full suits, just it seemed for tourist activities. So that was nice to see. But otherwise, and that was just in Honolulu. Everywhere else, yeah, I outdressed everyone, and I did get a few looks. And I figured if someone asked, "Oh, where are you going all dressed up?" I was kind of tempted to say, "Oh, I'm a Mormon," or "I'm a Jehovah's Witness," but I did not. I just made it even more awkward than if I would have said that, and I just said, "Oh, that's how I normally dress." Well. But I've been doing pretty good. Pretty fair. So, that's working out. Hey man, just reporting in to say your videos are great as ever from one of your fans way in New Zealand. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you enjoy them, and Thank you for your words. And this one is recent. This is from 19 hours ago. A little backstory on this. Obviously, as some of you know, I have a pretty solid audience on 4chan, that site. So I'll scout it out every now and then and see if there's any threads about me. So last night I scouted out their board Fit. That's supposedly for fitness-related stuff. And I saw there was a thread about me, so I came on. I posted some proof in the form of a written statement on my channel. And I did some Q&A on Fit, and I was actually surprised at how, a nice, tame, and professional everyone there was. So it actually worked out pretty well. I was there for an hour and a half doing some Q&A with the folks over there. So this guy says, holy bleeping bleep. I can't believe I was late to you being on Fit. Keep up the great work, man. Been enjoying you for over a year. Love you. Yeah, you can't win them all, right? But don't worry, I might be there again. I've done this before, and I might do it again. My dear review bro. This is that guy again, the one who first gave me that cryptic message, and then the one of the Bible verses, and now here's another one. Forgive my past message. It was a vulgar test for proclivities, and I'm deeply ashamed for sending it. One must be careful in my position. I have been experimenting with bleach, and as you and I both know, the best kind of pillow is a silent one. I wish you all the best in your hunt. I myself have had to hush my occupation as a moonlighting attendant, but I still have collected a few teeth this week alone. My body has already begun to transform. Sometimes when I listen to your videos I pucker. Is that wicked of me? I keep a rat skull on my desk now, a treat for the day I finally grow a claw hand. It is beautiful that we can be this open with each other. Definitely. Do you have any shin scars? Is that too forward? No. This is such a huge moment for me, to bask in the shadow of your greatness. Do you prefer odd or even numbers? Dragon Man. Postscript. Sometimes the branch that moves is not a branch, but rather an anus. Whoa. These are some amazing words. I mean, this guy is a very wise man, okay? And you really don't see that many people, nowadays like this. Back in the day, there used to be, those old wise monks, up in the, those old wise reclusive monks, deep in the mountains in, remote Asia, and they would know the secrets to everything. And this is one of those guys. He's a legend. He knows all. He's omnipotent. So I suggest that any words that this person says are extremely important and of the highest priority. This guy is a teacher. He has infinite wisdom. Sometimes the branch that moves is not a branch, but rather an anus. Amazing. And I really don't prefer either numbers. I mean, I guess more even, Hello there. I was wondering if you have a Steam account. If you have the game Gary's Mod, it would be called to play the game mode Trouble in Terrorist Town with you. In the game, each player is assigned a secret role, either innocent traitor or detective. The detective's job is to find and kill all the traitors, or the traitor's job is to kill all the innocents and detectives. The innocent just has to survive. There are various maps with a variety of weapons. Traitors can plant bombs and gun turrets, and the detectives can scan the DNA of dead bodies for clues. It'll be a lot of fun, and it'll also be cool to play with you. Also, could you please send me those screenshots you were talking about in the last VORW? Best wishes. I already sent him the screenshots. I replied to him personally there. I don't have a Steam account. If I ever do, though, maybe I'll check that game out. Hey, Report of the Week. Big fan. I was just wondering if you have any social media accounts I could follow, such as Twitter or Facebook. If not, do you have any plans to make these accounts? Thank you for continued content. laptop. I have no Twitter, have no Facebook, have no Tumblr, have no whatever else, just YouTube for me, and accounts on various, shortwave forums, but I don't think that really counts. Yeah. No, I don't. I do not, and I don't plan on making them. I really don't see the purpose in those sites, or I don't see a purpose in making an account. Hey, Report of the Week. I noticed your VORW shows are getting a little bare lately. Are you in need of additional fan art? Thanks for all the videos, and I always look forward to listening to them at work. Yeah, my supply has been getting low, if you will. So I mean, if you inquired, I know I've gotten some fan art from you in the past. So, if you want to help out and provide something, that'd be excellent. Any fan art is good. I take what I can get, but absolutely, if you're willing, I'll gladly feature it. This looks like it was a reply to some sort of... Oh, okay. Alright. Hey man, I like your channel. Keep it up. I haven't watched too many, but I have enjoyed the vids. I like that you disabled the comments. You have a radio voice. Good videos. Oh. Also, sorry. My name is Matt. What's your name and where are you located? First off, I thank you for your kind words. You're actually one of the very few people to say it's nice that you disabled the comments. Well, Matt, I understand that online I would much rather be called the Report of the Week. But my name is John. Alright, that is my name. A very typical name. But online I always like to be addressed as the Report of the Week. Here's some recent messages. This guy is part of my original audience. John, Adam again. Been a while since I sent you a message, but I've been here listening. It's enjoyable to hear the history of your channel, and I particularly love this series. Can I get the screenshots you talked about in the most recent VORW? Absolutely, I once again promptly responded to him. Gave him the screenshots and everything. And listen, it's great to hear from you again. I'm glad to see you're still around. And then most recently from 2 hours ago. Hey bro, just wanted to say these podcasts are 10 out of 10. Pretty good. Been listening every day. Love you, and don't forget to keep it natty, brah. You can tell where he's from. Fellow citizen, I think. Also, you should start lifting, brah. I know you might be reluctant, but if you have time, you should pick up the book Starting Strength and give it a read. I used to be pretty skinny like you, but then I found that just a couple of hours training each week, I could do more than I ever thought I could. Lifting isn't just physical training, brah. It permeates the mind, body, and soul. That is interesting, and I have heard of not just physical improvements upon lifting, but it's also helped out with the mind, really help maybe mature. That could be. But I think that's it. I think that's it when it comes to fan mail. Alright. See if there's anything on Reddit that we missed. I already saw that. Yeah, we are good to go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're 24 minutes in. We'll take this to the top of the hour. Yep. So we got the fan mail taken care of. We got everything else taken care of. I don't see. No, we didn't miss anything. Okay. Let's go to the channel. There we go. Let's start it up. Okay. Gotta go all the way back to over a year ago. So where did we stop at last time? We stopped at filming of the Domino's Pan Pizza running on empty food review. Also, before we really get started with this lecture here, if you're interested in those screenshots, and I've sent this complimentary to everyone who's inquired so far about the screenshots of my early channel back in 2012, there's a site known as archive.org, and I was checking that out, and I found out that there's an archive of my channel available online from even earlier. It's archived from early September of 2011. And so that's if you really want to look even further back. It's something that puts those screenshots to shame. Feel free to check that out. I think it's really something. So please, once again, feel free to check that out, okay? Thanks. So, we left off with the Domino's Pan Pizza review. The filming thereof. Once again, this is Report of the Weekend. We are continuing on our lecture about the history and story of my channel. So we concluded with the Domino's Pan Pizza review, the filming thereof, on the 1st of December 2012. The specific events, mostly negative, that actually led to the filming of that specific video. Those idiots with their shoutouts actually sparked this entire thing. Who knows where I and my channel would be if they were just a little more mature and didn't ask for shoutouts. Or if they asked for shoutouts and made them more appropriate. Who knows where we would be right now. Certainly not here, I will say that. So, following the filming of this review, the Pan Pizza review, things were still quiet, but it was still pretty much a continuation of the 2012, mindset and all that, but it was the very tail end. So after that, we brought back the Running on Empty series throughout the month of December. I actually was doing traditional items that I'm still doing now, so that's actually when I switched over really from only restaurant food to more like frozen food. So that's when I really switched over. I reviewed both types at the time of TGI Fridays crispy chicken wings. I also reviewed the Red Baron Super Slice. So typical, frozen foods, which you could see me review right now in 2014. So already at that time, the Running on Empty series evolved to what it is now. From just restaurant quality food to lower or equal quality frozen food. Now, after the first two food reviews, we decided to experiment something again. As you know, in this channel, I sometimes like to try things out. This whole VORW thing, you could say, is an experiment. So far, a good one, a successful one. Seeing how these audio-only lectures could go. That's the newest feature. But back then, I decided to try something else, and, let's say I have not done it again. I gave a monologue. Now, a monologue here is simply where I had a few things in front of me, and I just talked, with no rhyme or structure or anything like that. I just sat up in front of the camera and talked, and joked around and had fun doing it. But I don't know if it's something I would do really that often. You can look it up right now. It's Random Monologue Part 1 and Random Monologue Part 2. It's about, 33 minutes in length. 34 minutes about, we'll say that. So, in that monologue, I did everything from talking about new energy drinks, which I thought I was going to review, to even trying out little snack foods, to eating the last Twinkie. Remember that back then, of course, Twinkies are back now. Back then, with the economy as it was, I think it was the company, maybe Hostess, I don't know which company it was specifically, that raised up Twinkies in their Twinkie farms. If you know what Twinkies are these little snacks, almost like type of trying to describe one of these things is actually rather difficult. It's almost like a little type of snack cake, if you will. It's dome-like, and it's filled with forget it, look it up. But they went out of business at the time, and I had a few actually that were still fresh, so I tried them. And ate what I thought would be the last Twinkies ever. Of course, 6 months later, they're back. There's actually a few new types of Twinkies out there, which I might just have to review. But anyways, I had fun doing it, and that was almost like, if you will, the epitaph of my old channel. Pretty much put my golden era of my channel to a close right there. Of course, following that, now it's very early 2013. On January the 7th of 2013, I made my last review before everything changed. So from February 20th, 2011 to January 7th, 2013, pretty much my channel, as I knew it, came to an end. A review of TGI Friday's Crispy Chicken Wings was my last review, and once again, my channel's, my mindset, my behavior, what I could consider the golden age. And of that, later that week, things changed forever. How could things, lecture review, change so drastically? You clearly label this as a change of hands, if you will. You know, changing times, drastic changes to my channel. What could happen that could change things so radically that it changes both your channel and your mindset? How? It's just a frickin' internet channel. Come on, how could it do that? One might inquire. I will tell you. Because it's not really about the channel itself. It's about a very important lesson that I learned. And a few changes that came along with it, which I hope changed me for the better. With the final review filmed, of course I didn't think it was the final review for a while. I thought it was just going to be, oh yeah, another, I actually thought, before everything happened, oh yeah, it's just another typical review. What was it again, January 7th? So I mean, I was just getting ready to film another review, and don't you think it, well, it happened, but even then, things are different. I'm sure some of you are actually here from what happened back then. Maybe some of you aren't, some of you are newer, but maybe some of you actually remember what had happened. Either way, we'll get to it now. Let's skip ahead 10 days to January 17th, 2013. Alright. This is the first time something like this ever happened, and let's just say it had tremendous effect. But from the pan pizza review already, though, pan pizza was a popular food dish at the time. It still is, but it was brand new, so a lot of people wanted to know how it was. So, of course, even the pan pizza review got a little outside attention from just regular YouTubers looking it up and checking it out and what have you. Nothing tremendous. If you saw in the screenshots, it only had about 600 views. Nothing, too big. But one of those people decided to post the review on a little site known as Reddit. Well, most of the time for you Redditors out there, you know how things go when you try and post something on that site, right? 90% of the time it is just stagnant, and half the people just downvote it for no reason. the other half of the time does nothing, and then 1% of the time, we'll say that imaginary extra 1%, it blows up for no reason. Well, don't you think? I guess it's almost like the lottery. Just out of the blue. Someone decided to post my pan pizza review. I think he said something like, "Oh, this classy young man reviews a pan pizza," or something like that. I think he posted it to their videos subreddit. And don't you know, that one little percent kicked in right there. The post blew up. Mind you that I was used to getting maybe 20 views per video. And all of a sudden, overnight, this Reddit post explodes and goes on the front page of this site, Reddit. Blows up. I figure it must have been because of the pure obscurity of the video. That's the only reason, you know. That's all I can think of. But it blew up. And I'll never forget that night. I went to sleep at around 11 p.m. Wake up the next morning at around 8 a.m. I check my email. Because, of course, listen, not too much happened with, my channel, okay? Not too much happened, okay? I would get, I used to get the emails from YouTube when someone would subscribe to me. So I could also check out their channel because it wasn't a really high traffic account. Nowadays, I really wish I could do that still, but I had so many, I can't. That's why I really take fan mail at such a high consideration and priority here. But at the time, I used to, whenever someone would comment, private message, subscribe, add me as a contact, any of that stuff, I would get a little email, right, in my personal email. So I would usually check my email pretty regularly, might you say. If I fell asleep that night, it was still pretty much the email box. The inbox was empty. There was nothing at all. Maybe I'd get like a new subscription or a new notification or something. Maybe once a day, once every 2 days, right? So you could imagine when I woke up the morning of January the 17th, 2013, I checked my inbox at around 8 a.m. to see that it was flooded with, I'd say, over 1,000 emails in the space of just, a 6-hour period, after the person posted it on Reddit. Could you imagine the look of shock on my face? I mean, I had to take a second take at that. Because, mind you, I had never seen anything like that before. I was dumbfounded. I was in a state of shock. And I thought to myself, my God, what is this? So I did a little more investigating. And I immediately checked my videos. And I saw that the pan pizza review from 600 had gone to almost 12,000. And I saw those being steadily commented on. Then I saw some idiot who's flagged for spam said, "Hey, the Reddit army has arrived." And then I immediately knew, oh, it's been posted on Reddit, and it probably got some attention there. So I was still in a state of shock. I refreshed the page, and immediately the views went from 11,000 to 15,000, right? People still commenting. I had never been exposed to something like that before, so I was literally in a state of both surprise and, even if you will, a state of maybe joyfulness. Because you really don't think about going to sleep one night and then seeing your video go viral the next morning, Especially after those, 2.5 years. Actually, just 2 years. Where it's not much has really happened. So to see also the amount of views, triple, and the amount of subscribers quadruple in just a period of hours, it was certainly a shocking experience, to say the least. So, of course, once again, if that happened with how I was now, I would have handled it much differently than how I handled it the second time. Listen, if something like that ever happened to me again or happened to me now, I would really keep it a quiet, under-the-table deal. I wouldn't say anything about it. Certainly wouldn't be something I'd be proud of. Uh, you know, I would just pretend it never happened and just keep going on. But, oh, back then, I thought it was the biggest thing in the world, and I was proud of it too. I remember bringing it up in conversation with everyone, because it was news to me, you know? And I hope you know I was a different person back then, but that's how I was. That's still the 2012 mindset kicking in. So I checked in later in the day, that afternoon, I'd say around 2 p.m., and I saw that now my amount of views on that video had gone from, what was it, 14 or 15,000 that morning to around 60,000 by the afternoon. And my subscribers, the amount of subscribers has gone to about 800 from 200. And that's when it finally occurred to me, this wasn't just a brief thing. It wasn't just mentioned on some blog or something. This is bigger than that. And that's when it clicked. Alright. That's when I realized this is bigger than what I previously thought it would have been. So, that night I was once again glued to the computer, right? If you could imagine back in looking at old pictures from like the 1950s or the 1940s, you see the family huddled around the TV or huddled around the radio. That was pretty much like me, literally huddled right near the computer. Well, I kind of am every day, but I mean, I was really like up close to the screen, you know, because I still couldn't get over it. Now, one of my little food reviews would go viral in a sense, and I was proud of it, as I said before. Nowadays, I don't know what I do, but anyway, I was proud of it. Now, that evening, of course, also, I still had the email notifications going, so my inbox had gone from maybe 70 unread emails since, 2009 to a couple thousand unread emails in the space of less than 24 hours. So I had to disable the little, notification system. But, anyway. So, I thought, where's it going to end? People were still commenting continuously. And that's when I made what you could say the best or the worst decision, at least in the past 4 years of my life. Could have made, you could call it the best or the worst decision I've ever made in that period of time. What did I decide to do, my friends? What could have been such a bad decision that I made at that time that I could consider to be one of the worst I've ever made in my life? I decided to try and be that nice guy, that guy who tries to respond or read every comment. You think of that. Now, instead of just a small little trusted audience, you have the general online public, which is comprised mostly of trolls who will say anything negative. Just to say it. And have, tens of thousands of them coming in and commenting on one day. It's almost like an overload, if you will. But I decided to be stupid, and I decided to let alone read, if not respond, to almost all of them. Boy, was I stupid. Was I a frickin' idiot back then. You never do anything like that. You don't even acknowledge any of that. But I was too stupid to realize that. So I spent the night, that's the good part of it, sitting there, watching the new comments coming in, almost like watching a ticker tape. Watching them come in, and reading and responding to them. I would meet once again, remember, I was being looked at almost as a circus freak. I was a freak. Most people online had never seen anything like this before. And to them, I was simply some weird freak that they felt free to ridicule. And once again, I was already too maybe disoriented by all of it, but it didn't occur to me that. So I was reading what false praise there was and responding to it somewhat kindly, and any negative stuff there was, which numbered in the thousands that easily, I responded to that with equal, if not worse, comments on what they even said. Please don't forget that I still had the 2012 mindset back then. I still thought, I gotta stand up for myself here. I gotta show them who's boss. And I tried to do that to every single comment. So I fell asleep that night. Woke up the next morning, and it still had not continued. Or, stopped, mind you. Wrong choice of words. Wrong word, if you will. The pan pizza review had still continued. At this point, I realized it had gone viral. Checked in the morning, and it was around 100,000 views. Then I checked my channel, and looked at the little TGI Fridays view, and it had about 12,000 views at the time. And our videos had thousands of views. I was amazed by this. And then I started seeing if it wasn't, I assumed at this point that it wasn't just Reddit, which it wasn't. This disgraceful organization, which I'm sure you know of, is College Humor, picked up upon my content. And I would have expected more of a professional organization like them. But unfortunately, I had been mistaken. They created a post which had become quite popular called Kid in Oversized Suit Reviews a Pizza. I think that was it. Those degenerates, once again, kept the added fuel to the fire, if you will. Kept this mess going. As did a little site known as Barstool Sports, posting the same trash. And once again, it was reposted on blogs. I think there's one site, The Atlantic. I think that's supposed to be a magazine of some sort, which apparently claims they have standards. Once again, posted an equally disgusting statement. You gotta think of it as this, really. Take a look on 4chan. Well, 4chan, at least about me, has, I feel, improved since November 2013, which I'll talk about in one lecture one day, if we ever get there. Think about the stuff they say about me on 4chan, and multiply that by several thousand people, all saying this in the period of 24 to 48 hours. I was both shocked by all the attention I was getting, and also somewhat outraged to see all this negative stuff being said about you in such a short period of time, and then feeling the need to respond to everything. Okay? That was just plain stupid of me. And then to have people who consider themselves professionals, right? Professional writers, professional entertainers, professional newsmen and news editors and radio broadcasters and everyone, all saying that exact same stuff. I mean, these people who you thought, were supposed to have dignity, were really no better than anyone else. I mean, that hits you hard. But it continued, and I kept responding to them. Now, let's face it, some of these comments which I replied to, and my responses thereof, were very vulgar. But a lot of the stuff that some people still try and post online is just edited. It's really difficult to still find any of the original responses. Most of the people on the forums and 4chan and all of those places just decided to, edit them up and make it look 10 times worse than it was. But there's still a few out there, which are genuine, and I'm not going to deny any of that. But anyway, this frenzy continued on all the way up until the 20th of January. So that was, the 20th of January, which was a 3-day period of this constant bombardment of hatred and negativity, and then people saying they like your content, but it's actually false praise. All of this. When, because truly it went viral, that's all I can say. It got about, 250,000 views in the space of, 2.5 days. It went viral. And believe me, I was offered to go on all sorts of TV shows, even, The Tonight Show, I think, with Jay Leno, invited me to go on it, and I said no. Well, actually, I didn't say no at the time. Didn't have any time to say it. So I just ignored it all. But, I was thinking about it, though. I definitely was considering it. But anyways, so it went viral. Little did I know that these vulgar responses to vulgar comments would have the effect that they did on me in the long term. Mind you that I still thought I could say whatever I wanted to and do whatever I wanted to with no consequences for my actions. But on the morning, January the 20th, 2013, I was proved wrong. And after over a year of having that mindset, everything crashed down. Now, here comes a turning point. And I'm not going to stop this lecture just because I cross over the hour mark. Alright? This is probably one of the most important moments in my channel's history, and certainly a life-changing moment for me. And you can say whatever you want. You could say how pathetic it is, and I fully embrace that because it truly is. But in this information age, in this digital age, I'm sure many people's lives have also changed due to something online, be it good or bad. But this is a very significant event, and I'm not going to stop at the hour mark for this. I'm going to take as long as I need to talk about this. If it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, so be it. So, little did I know that, the vulgar responses to comments. I was trying to be the internet tough guy, right? And, it makes you sound tough online, and then behind the computer screen, what do you have? You have someone just like me, right? So I was literally the internet tough guy back then. But I thought I was the boss. I thought I could say whatever I could do. I could do whatever I wanted to do. And if you look I actually, during this time when it went viral, I had actually published a food review at the time. I made that the same day, on January 19th. I reviewed Domino's Pizza. Clearly, in light of the blow-up, of the other Domino's Pizza review. And you could look at the statistics. I think I made those. Well, now they're publicly visible. So you could look at them, and you could see the first day how they immediately spiked to near, 3,000 views. But if you watch that video, I find how I was in that video to be... I shake my head at it. Already, I was full of it. I was full of myself. I didn't realize that people were just watching this stuff to laugh at me. I didn't realize that. And I was letting all this sudden, really, it's non-existent, online fame get to my head. I mean, so what? Oh, yeah, a couple thousand views. It's literally just numbers. It's just black pixels on a screen. Subscribers, it's just another number. doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to wake up one morning and have, 10 camera crews outside my house and, 10,000 fans. It's not happened. That didn't happen, mind you. But I let all of that go to my head. Okay? I let all of it go to my head. And you could see if you watch that review, well, maybe you can't, but I can at least. I let it go to my head. Compare that review, the Domino's Pizza review, to any review before that, and you'll see a clear difference. But where were we? Little did I know that these comments which I made, these vulgar, inappropriate comments which I made, would have such an effect the following day on January 20th. So, let's talk about something here, okay? While I'm a few years older than I was back then. Okay. I'm a few years older than I was back then. And I'm definitely probably at least a decade older mind-wise, in my mind, than I was back then. Understand that back then, of course, as I still do now, I live with my parents. And I feel it utterly shameful to recount this tale, but I feel it only necessary to move on and just tell it as it is, so please understand that I find it incredibly shameful to tell this with all of you, but I will do it regardless, because I've promised to tell you the history of my channel and the story thereof, and I will tell you it as it happened. Alright? So, when I woke up the morning of, I think it was Sunday the 20th of January, 2013, I was immediately going to go on the computer and keep this up. I thought I had a long and prosperous viral career. I literally thought I was going to be the next, big thing on YouTube. Of course, no. I'm content with where I am now. But I expected more, I guess, back then. I was stupid to expect more. But I guess I was. So, wake up that morning, I was about to go on the computer, and I met my mother halfway to the computer from my room, and she said, your father wants to have a word with you, something to that extent. So, I go up, and I think, oh, well, what about? And, he says, I go up to his office, and he says, could you please close the door? So I do. And he says, I was checking out your YouTube channel this morning, and I read your comments. Well, immediately, right then and there, my heart dropped. And I realized in my mind, I said, O, F, right? I mean, my heart dropped, and I realized, oh, well, F, right? I screwed up. So, what happened? Well, you have different types of parents out there. You have pretty much two types. You have the type that, when confronted with their sons or daughters' despicable online behavior, they either A, do nothing, or there's the other type B that does react and does something and possibly takes preventive measures. Well, my parents, knowing that they both came from professional backgrounds with, really standards and morals, they did something about it. Mostly my father, you know. He told me exactly what happened. He told me that, because I had told him previously, the videos got some attention. So that morning he decided to research it. And the first video he clicked on, the top comment was me cussing someone out. And then he looked through it further and saw a slew of them. Alright? Well, let's just say he gave me a good lecture, right? And then he said, listen. He said, you have people, who know you in real life who watch these videos. You have professionals who watch these videos. Some of those professionals know you. He said, what would you do? Say in a few years when you're looking for a job, and they go and they check for you online, and that's what they see? So, of course, he gave me a good lecture to talk about it. Of course, in a more stern setting. With my mind as it is, of course, I can't recount the conversation. But it was certainly one of both frustration and disappointment. And he said, listen, I want you to go right now, delete all of your comments that you made, and then we're going to shut the channel down. So then even more my heart dropped. Because once again, I thought this was my greatest moment, having these videos finally gain so much attention which they deserved, right? Sarcasm there. So I thought, now it's all coming to an end. Now it's all crashing down right now. My hopes and dreams are crashing down. Of course, we're still here right now. A few things changed. But everything was crashing down, and not just crashing, burning too. And this channel shut down because of his actions. Oh, believe me, at the time, I didn't even realize I did anything wrong. I thought he was overreacting, not doing something that any responsible adult should do. Oh boy, was I stupid. So, during the rest of that day, of course, I immediately did what he said. And, after I removed the comments, we let the videos still, go and get a few more views during the rest of the day. We didn't shut everything down until the late afternoon. But in the afternoon, I as a desperate last attempt, which I'm very thankful failed miserably, I went up there and I pleaded for something else to happen, and he said, no, this is the only thing we can do at this point. So, that evening, without any statement to the public, because of my stupidity, I shut the channel down. Of course, with him right over my shoulder to make sure I didn't try to pull anything. But I shut the channel down. Now, he's a smart man, my father. And he decided not to delete everything and close the account. He decided, alright, we're just going to do this in stages. First, he said, disable all the comments on every video. And of course, he was sitting in the chair next to me. We disabled all the comments. Then about 20 minutes later, alright, now make every video private. Made every video private. Alright, get rid of comments on your channel. Get rid of everything else. Your channel was still up, but in all effectiveness, it was dead. Right? There's nothing to see, just a blank background. None of the videos were accessible. And he said, it'll stay like this for at least 4 months. And hopefully you'll learn your lesson in time. Until then, at first, we were originally just going to delete it and then make a new channel then. So I'd already made a new channel at the time. Of course, with once again his observation, it was by the name of Rep Week Reviewer. And that was to be my new channel. I just had a short announcement on my main channel, the Report of the Week, that said, we're moving channels to Rep Week Reviewer. I'll be back in a few months. I tried to keep it, simple. Not too drastic or anything. Oh, we're moving, I'll see you there. Right. Tried to keep it at that attitude. Which I think really, proved successful to some degrees. Of course, within a few days, the people who cared switched over. Those who didn't. I had a few hundred subscribers on that channel. So the days following and weeks following the shutdown of my channel was when the first changes started going on in my mind. Alright. So, what happened with my channel shut down because of my stupidity, you would have thought that while it was down, I could look back at what had just happened and maybe come to my senses and realize, hey, listen, I screwed up on this one. It was my fault. I messed up. Right? Well, you think I came to my senses that soon? Nope. Mind you that I still had a little bit of that same mindset. Remember, I had the same exact mindset that, for over a year and a half, for nearly 2 years. I thought, no, I'm untouchable. I didn't do anything wrong, My video going viral was what I deserved, right, from all my work for, 2 years. And now that got taken away from me? How dare he do that? How dare, how dare he take my channel away from me because I stood up for myself, right? That was my excuse. That's what I was telling myself in my mind. And don't you think I began to get a little depressed at that time? Why? Oh, not because I screwed up, but because he put this on me, right? It's all my father's fault for taking that away from me. So I began to get a little depressed because of that. And for the next 2 months, I had time to think. All I could think about is, how could that man, do this to me for speaking my mind? Of course, as I look back at it now, I shake my head. And I think, how could I ever have said such a thing? How could I have ever tried to put the blame on someone who was just doing the right thing and being responsible? How could I be that terrible of a person to go at such a length to try to admit, oh no, I didn't do anything wrong, when truly it was all on me? How could I have done such a thing? I look back now. And I had that same attitude for a solid 3 months. Alright? This was my chance of fame, and he blew it, as I thought. So, at around February of 2013, I don't know if my father noticed I was down in the dumps. I'm sure he did. But he decided, alright, we're gonna make a few changes to what happened. I'm sure he thought it over just as much as I did, because remember that he'd never seen me do anything like that before. Online. So he decided, alright, we're going to make a few changes here. He said, as of February 20th, you could keep your old channel, you could still keep the report of the week. That was really the main change then. Make an announcement on your channel, Rep Week Reviewer, that will be staying with the report of the week. So I did. Then, we went on a month, and finally, in March of 2013, a month earlier than what it would have been, I was finally allowed to make videos again and slowly bring them back, of course under heavy supervision. Now, we're going to briefly skip ahead and say, of course, because I've never done and never will do anything this stupid again, it's lightened down. I could publish videos as freely as I want. I certainly have much more freedom nowadays. They don't even check the channel anymore. They've pretty much given me back the reins of my channel. I could even have comments back up again. But I'll tell you, since November of 2013, I've realized I never want to have comments up again due to the degeneracy of the online community, which saddens me, but what can you do? So, now, of course, I have the reins again to this channel. I'm in full control of it, but I choose to keep some things the way they were since I learned that lesson. What I want to say, though, and then we'll end it here. This really isn't going on about the history, it's just talking about myself for a moment. I hope you understand how completely disappointed I am in myself for this, for what I did back then. I really hope you can understand the magnitude of shame, sadness, and disgust that after eventually, several months after several months after it happened, I'm talking about maybe May or June or maybe even July of 2013. Maybe even August, maybe even later than that. After thinking very long about what I did, I finally came to my senses and realized how heavily I screwed up. And now, every single day, I have yet to forgive myself for what I did. Because not only did I post such foul, immature, and utterly disrespectful comments on YouTube to other people for the entire world to see, not only did I do that, but I also failed to realize that I messed up. For months, I failed to realize that I messed up. And I was putting the blame on someone who was just taking actions for my own good. For me, I didn't just screw up once. I screwed up at least twice. Maybe even 3 times, to get all sad and depressed because I still thought it wasn't my fault. Of course, I'll talk about this maybe a little more in the next lecture. But I've screwed up at least twice. Actually, 3 times, because I hadn't even apologized to my father for what I did. Because he was disappointed in me, he expected better of me, and I let him down. I did something that he thought I never would have done. I let him down. I disappointed him. and I didn't even apologize for it. Of course, in the months since, I've apologized profusely, and we're on very fine terms now. And of course, I've recuperated the channel and rehabilitated the channel and changed my entire mindset through significant meditation and thought about what I've done. And I've changed everything I could have. But there's one thing that I can't change, and that's the past. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't change what I've done, or what I failed to do. What's done is done, and that's engraved in time now. My foolish mistakes, and the responses to those mistakes, I can't undo those. There's a common saying, forgive and forget, right? That saying does not hold true here. People, every single day, sometimes when I'm taking my walk, some days it'll just come into my mind. But almost every day, maybe every other day, but almost every day, I still think about this. I think about how I screwed up, and how much I disappointed someone who I care about very much. Someone who thought better of me. I just can't forgive myself for that. I don't know if I ever will. But as of now, it's been 1.5 years, getting closer to 2 years every day. I just can't forgive myself for what I did. I can't. I don't know if I'll be able to. But it lives on every single day. Every single time I look at this channel, I'm reminded of what I did. And how I disappointed, those who I care about most. And how I disappointed myself further by failing to realize that I messed up. Every day I think about that, and I can't get myself to forgive myself for this. As of now, I have no intention to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening to this. I know we went a little overtime here, but it's just a very important thing about not just my channel, but my life in general now, that we discussed in this show. I thank you for listening. I hope you listened to the whole thing. It would mean a lot if you truly did lend an ear throughout the entirety of this, and hopefully was able to grasp the magnitude of the wrong I did back then, and the efforts I've taken to try to correct this. In our next show, we will briefly discuss this, but we will most importantly focus on my return to reviewing on March 16th, 2013. And we'll take it from there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Feel free to send me a message. Let your voice be heard. I read and discuss fan mail at the beginning of every single show. So please do not hesitate to send me a message with your questions, comments, or just general chat. I'll gladly respond. And remember, if you wish to see those screenshots, and I'll even link you with the archive of my channel from early 2011, let me know, and I will gladly provide them for you. Thank you for listening. This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing off.